people connect to you when they see that you're humanizing yourself and you're not just being one of those people who looks like they're always winning the lotto every day and traveling to Punta Cana every day. You have to be real.
Choose not to live in a world of filters. Realize your mistakes. Set the foundation for your success. Get some wins. Knucklehead Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of Knucklehead Podcast. I'm going to screw up how many followers our next guest has on Instagram. He's going to correct me, and by the time this gets out of post, he's going to have probably 3 or 4x the amount. Polylong. Pauly has an Instagram profile, and I want to talk about this just real quick. I mean, this is Knucklehead Podcast. This is not everything worked exactly the way it was supposed to. This is not how I built this. This is not Reid Hoffman's LinkedIn lead. This is what this is what did you screw up? In today's social media-oriented world where decisions happen at a breakneck pace, technology changes at a breakneck pace, and people are out there just trying to live their best life day in and day out, I'm fascinated by this whole by the whole ecosystem that exists on social media, and that's why I'm excited to have somebody with some clout in that particular industry.
Yes, sir.
Pauly Long, nice to meet you, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you, my man. Thank you so much for having me on. This is exciting. Appreciate it.
100%. So, all right. So before I screw it up, how many followers right now do you have? Today is October 21st.
Just above 30. Just above 30K.
Okay. All right. So let's rewind the clock back about 2 years. How many followers are we talking about now?
Oh my God. Why don't we go back about 2 months? I had about 2,000.
I love it. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So in today's world, and you probably see this quite a bit with just having conversations with business owners, because you're in the business of influencer marketing, right? You're in the business of helping folks who want to develop a significant following online through social media platforms. You talk with businesses all the time that have dedicated budgets for content, and I'm curious, how do people bridge the gap between 2,000 to 30,000 over a 60-day period of time?
Yeah. It's a lot of consistency, a lot of just dedication to being able to post on a weekly basis, keeping up. I guess we'll talk Instagram in this case. Obviously,
sure.
There's tons of social media platforms, but with your Instagram, the big thing is you have to be consistent, but you have to be genuine. You have to show that you're a real person. People connect to you when they see that you're humanizing yourself and you're not just being one of those people who looks like they're always winning the lotto every day and traveling to Punta Cana every day. You know what I mean? You have to be real. So part of what I started doing, and this was actually, I would say at least 6 months ago, probably 6 to 8 months ago, sometime towards the beginning of this year, of 2019, I started getting somewhat consistent with my posts, but not really. But I was posting stuff like from the heart, and that was where I first started noticing that people were actually paying attention a little bit, and of course there's always going to be people who are like, this is stupid, or you talk too much, or, you got to eat the hate, swallow it, and get rid of it. It's just, and move on. That's it. But the big thing that really helped me was just, I really just started being genuine and showing, what I was doing. And then as of the last 2 months, when I came out here to Scottsdale, I drove my car 3 days cross country. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, got here, started working immediately with a marketing agency, and boosting my Instagram, posting, 3 times a week, really nice content, really, really good, like photography. And then my stories, I was just boom, 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 all day long, showing what I'm doing, preaching my motivational stuff. That's my end goal, is to be a motivational speaker. Just telling people what I believe in, really. And you have to be confident about it. Yep. That's the big thing. Not enough people hurt. Go ahead.
It's interesting. No, I love how there were several things that you covered there. One of them in particular was that you started with your end goal. You wrapped up with your end goal. Your end goal was you want to be a motivational speaker, right? And so the process that you went through, from what I've heard, is you had to remove yourself from an environment of being there on the East Coast, and you got yourself closer to where there's maybe a little bit of sun and a little bit of more attractive scenery, so to speak. Down there in Scottsdale. Yeah, and opportunity, right? So there's a significant amount of merit to getting yourself out of where you currently are to go to where you want to be. Right. And that's what I heard with what you were saying. And there was just somebody who we had on the show recently that was, they're from the Midwest, and They actually started a tech company there, and they're still in the Midwest. And what's crazy is they got themselves out of themselves by going and surrounding themselves with like-minded folks who aren't in their current geographical area. Yeah. And what that did is it changed their perspective. Now, the common denominator between those two scenarios is you're putting images where folks are literally carrying you around in their pocket. And it's crazy. As soon as they want to get a break from their reality, they pull their phone out. You see it all the time, and they start scrolling through their news.
Scroll. Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of the psychology with what it is that you're doing, how much prep time do you take when it comes to studying this stuff? And tell me a time where you didn't prepare as well as you wish you would have, and it didn't go the way that you wanted it to.
And when you ask that, are you saying like in terms of like a post that I made or something like that?
Yeah, I'm talking like you misspelled a word and you put a lot of thought into it, and you're like, this is going to be incredible, and you're like, oh shoot, I just misspelled my name or whatever. I'm kidding like that, but
yeah, I'm pretty good about that for the most part. My father is a creative writer and editor, so I'm like, it's like drilled in my brain to spell words right.
You're not allowed to mess up, son. You're not allowed to mess up.
Yeah. Oh my God. I like, my dad was the one who was like correcting my speech and my grammar like as I'm talking to him. So I grew up like that. So I'm pretty good about it, but I have had a couple where I post it and then 3 hours goes by and I look back and and I'm like, so yeah, I mean, yeah, take your time. But I would say actually, if you want to talk about something that, I messed up on, and I guess I could actually call it a knucklehead moment. Yeah. For sure. Very similar to what you had told me yourself about your story about how Knucklehead Podcast came about.
Oh yeah, people know my story. I get people all the time going, oh yeah, well I text the wrong person also, buddy. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
they know my story. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's and you let your anger and your frustration get the best of you, and then it was an accident, but it wouldn't have happened if you would have cleared your head first. And I've done the same thing. I was preaching my product and my service to someone one time. This is a few months ago, or just like 2 months ago, like right when I got here to Scottsdale, and everything was kind of new, and I hadn't really been like established and settled in yet, and I guess my mind just wasn't where it should have been. And we're talking, and they were like, yeah, good to go. Let's do it. Let me sign up. And I'm like, are you sure? Good. They're like, yeah. So they're playing me along. And then I think it was like they acted like their phone was cutting out, or they lost their wallet or something like that. And then they hung up on me. And I had been hung up on a few times earlier, like that day even. And this was like the fourth or fifth one. And I lost it. I didn't like explode or anything. But I went on Instagram, and this is my knucklehead moment. I went on Instagram, I went on my story, and I typed up this big, long, like passive aggressive, bullshit. And it was like, oh, so many people are going to waste my time and this and that. And I posted it, and like 10 minutes went by, and I was like, what did I just do? And deleted it, but it had already been seen by like 300 people. And
oh my goodness!
And I was just like, that's just a bad image, And it's not a big deal. I mean, it was 2 months ago. It's already been forgotten, but I'm sure there's still a couple people who like remember it, or that week probably changed their judgment on me. And you don't want that. You don't want the people's judgment on you to change because of one little story post that didn't even mean anything, didn't even matter. I'm over it, they're over it, everyone's over it. Who cares? So that's my suggestion is for anyone watching this, anyone listening to this, before you let your emotions take over your posts, check yourself, make sure it's coming from the heart and not from your blood, right? Not from the boiling blood that you have.
Hey, you ever asked yourself why you haven't started a podcast? Well, I already know the reason. So do you. You don't feel like you're tech savvy. You don't feel like you got your message wired tight. And quite frankly, it's all this mystification going on. Quite frankly, our process helps to demystify that. We're push button for podcasts. We're Knucklehead. Why Knucklehead? Well, we lead with the fact that you don't know what you're doing. We do. We've been there. We've actually been in your shoes. We take your spoken voice. We literally give a human voice to your website. You want to bring dead leads to life? Well, then you need to talk to Knucklehead. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to take you through our process, and we're going to help take your human voice and increase the process for you going from dead leads to life. How do I do that? Well, you essentially just take your human voice, put it in a directory, and let people consume more of you. Give your audience the ability to Netflix on you. They want to binge watch you. They want to binge listen. Give them the ability to take your voice along on that commute with them. So You can get in touch with us, Steven at Knucklehead Podcasts, or if you got a really cool story, stories at Knucklehead Podcasts. You can find us on LinkedIn and on Facebook at Knucklehead Promotions LLC, and get in touch with us. Don't be a beta about the process. Don't let the fact that you don't know prevent you from getting some wins. So don't be a beta, get some wins, and contact us today. See you.
You know, what's interesting about even just that perspective is somebody who does this professionally, right? So you're very intentional with each one of these. So we're talking about 3 posts times 52 weeks. So you're talking about over, my Marine Corps math tells me that's less than 200, but more than 150 as far as posts that you're going to be intentionally putting out there into the marketplace. Some people are like, I just want to use social media to connect with friends or check in with, like it's a very interesting dynamic that exists now. Like there's an influencer marketing documentary about the unintended consequences of that type of narratives in some cases. The Fire Festival, you know what I'm talking about, where there was a manipulation of the truth, right? And it completely screwed up, not just an event, but musicians' careers. It brought the entire industry under a lot of scrutiny.
It's a trickle-down effect. It absolutely is. Yeah.
And so what's interesting about how you led with being genuine, in some cases, you're just genuinely putting some information out there that helps people make better decisions. Because in the past, you talked about a story where you let your emotions get the best of you, and it didn't really work out very well for you because your intended goal was to be a motivational speaker. Your heart was in the right places. It's interesting how you hear people talk about it all the time. The difference between a manipulation and motivation is intent. If your intent is to help them and actually truly give value to not just your client, but also whoever the intended consumer of your content is, then that's different. You know what I mean? Do you spend much time talking to folks about, being deliberate with the type of content that you're creating, or is it almost by accident?
Yeah, I mean, I have like people that I mentor on Instagram of how to clean their page up, and how to post the right content, and kind of what to do with their story posts throughout their day. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm going through every day for myself and other people. So it's always up there, running through the course. But yeah, it's like this is my life. This is my everyday life. So I'm constantly learning from myself and from other people, for sure.
Yeah. Would you say that? And I'll get to a point where we can wrap here. I'm interested in some other things that maybe didn't go according to plan. But if you were somebody who was raising kids, so like young kids, for instance, if they're on social media platforms, being a almost 30-something-year-old yourself, what kind of suggestions would you give them in terms of, would you share everything, or what is it that you would share in terms of if you were guiding somebody who's 10, 15 years old trying to do what it is that you're trying to do?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I would first start by asking, what is it truly that you want to do? Because see, people see Instagram, and I'll use me for example, right? People see my account, they see 30,000 followers, they see I'm traveling, and they're like, oh, like that's cool, I want to do that. But it's not that I'm doing Instagram, I'm using Instagram to leverage what I'm passionate about. And that's what people don't understand, is it's like, oh, well, he's just an influencer. Yeah, I am, but I'm doing it so that I can one day build a brand for myself big enough that people will actually then ask my advice, and I'll be able to share real life, situations with them that I've been through that have gotten me to this point, and therefore start my journey to becoming the motivational speaker that I'm looking to be. So for anyone, for any kids, 10, 15, doesn't matter, 20, I don't care if you're 40 years old and you want to start. It doesn't matter when you start. Really figure out what it is that you want to do, whether it's motivational speaking, whether it's fitness, whether you're like a Forex trader, you want to do digital marketing, you want to do podcasts, right? Anything, any single market, industry, business, brand, product, service, does not matter. The biggest thing is just providing content, but providing value as well. So part of the reason that I told you earlier that I'm going to get on all these social media platforms is just to start creating as much value in my content as possible. I've been posting the pictures, I've been building up the following. Now it's time to actually start telling people what it is that I'm passionate about. So that's the big thing, is like, however old you are, wherever you're going to start, just start. That's the big thing, is like, just get the content there. Take the pictures, post them, show what it is that you're about, and just make it happen. Don't wait any longer. Don't like spend an hour or a week or a month thinking about how the right post is going to be and how you should make it look, and just like get out there, let people see you with their eyes. And you got to be confident in what you're posting, because if you don't believe in it and people can see that, they're not going to believe in it. So the most important thing for you is just to stay consistent. And even if you're not getting a lot of traction at first, it's okay. Just keep going. You can't post 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times, however many times it's got to be, without people starting to notice you eventually. So guys, my biggest thing for you is just start and never stop. That's it. And that's the biggest thing.
So at Knucklehead, we call that get some wins. You have to start. And I mean, it kind of goes without saying, it's very simple, but just movement in the right direction. Again, you have to have your, whatever your desired outcome is, clearly set, or at least know that you need to get it set. Let's do this. Tell these people how to connect with you, right? I mean, you're an aspiring motivational speaker who's influencing folks via social media on Instagram. So tell people how to get in touch with you.
Absolutely, guys. I am on Instagram at Polylong, PAULYLONG. Same thing on TikTok, same thing on Facebook, same thing on YouTube. Twitter, someone stole Polylong from me, which I'm super butthurt about. So I'm at Pauly_long, and he hasn't been logged on since 2012. So let's all like start a petition and just have him delete his account, and we'll get me on Twitter too. But yeah, at Polylong, guys, go follow me, DM me, ask me questions, reach out anytime. I'm a very personable guy, very genuine. I love talking to people and helping. So do not ever hesitate. Do not ever be afraid to give me a shout. I'd love to connect with you.
Well, I like the proof in the pudding too. So 30,000 followers or up to 30,000 followers in a 60-day period of time. There's value in that consistency and also in the positivity there too. So appreciate you, buddy. For everybody who likes listening to Knucklehead, a new episode coming out every Tuesday. So every Tuesday we have a new episode for your ears. Take us along on your commute. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you have questions about how to go and produce some of the results that he was talking about there, 30,000 followers, 60-day period of time, Pauly told you exactly how to get in touch with him. He even told you some of the things that he screwed up. So double check your posts and don't be so emotional about it before you do it, right? Let people in, but not that much, not that
That's
close.
It. That's it. Just be genuine and nice.
Right. And nice. I like it. The encouragement is there. And Pauly told you exactly how to get in touch with him. So for those of you who like listening to Knucklehead, Polylong to go from 2 to 30,000 followers in 60 days. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Don't be a beta about the process. Go ahead and get some wins.